Welcome to Healing the Divide, produced by Methodology Books. For this episode, I'm your host, Malik Shabazz. We don't bring you news and discuss politics for the sake of discussion. Our responsibility is the bigger picture. I mentioned in one of the posts that a person like Elon Musk, who has, let's say, $400 billion in his worth, it takes 1,000 million to make 1 billion. So this man could actually give $1 million to every U.S. citizen, men, women, and children. And even if he subtracted from that group all the billionaires that already exist and all the millionaires, everybody could have $1 million. This would be one of those countries that has a lot of wealthy people. You know, you would end poverty overnight. I mean, you would solve some serious problems, right? But because it's not just about democracy, you have to remember that it's also that if these people who are wealthy were the only people who had anything, that wouldn't move them to helping. Because even if everybody suddenly had no money, these people will still find a way to make themselves the top of the group. They would still have a need for there to be classes, and that they would have to be upper over everyone else. So here's what you have. If he was the type of person that would give $1 million to every person in the country, and now everybody in the country is a millionaire, how would that impact the country? All those people on jobs that's almost close to slave labor for slave wages would certainly not be showing up to those jobs, and those type of jobs wouldn't be necessarily recruiting people that have $1 million, would it? Even your general employment that brings any type of nobility, a lot of people might not show up. You know, maybe there are people who are journalists, who are part of organizations that stand for a cause or whatever else. Maybe they wouldn't show up for that type of paycheck anymore for $1 million. So now you see where the capitalism comes into play. And when they talk about education in this country, they're not talking about educating people to become critical thinkers and to become geniuses and to solve world hunger and problems. They're satisfied with people being educated enough for the workforce. So giving everybody $1 million would be counter to what their situation is and what their plan is and what their need is. So these classes and these groups and the homelessness and all these things, that's not a bug in American society. It's a deliberate feature. It can't function otherwise. So what do you do now? So now when everybody was talking about bigots are saying the quiet parts out loud when they make their racist statements, what you're looking at now is the oligarchs, the wealthy people, they're making their statement out loud right in front of everybody's face. And while everybody's still screaming democracy, they're showing you what it's really about. The democracy part doesn't have much power. But the people who have money, they have power. So to impact actual change in this society, you have to impact what makes people have power. So if they don't want to make it so that everybody can have something, it can be handled so that they have little or they have less. Do you see how Elon Musk is going to pieces behind his stock dropping? He's down at least $100 billion from that. His stock is in bad shape. And he's on TV whining and crying about how people could be so unfeeling, could be so heartless and be so mean, while he celebrated with a chainsaw, how he's taking jobs from thousands of people. When he's celebrating, he has no regard and no feelings for the people who, not only when they get fired, don't have a job, but the way that they were getting rid of them is so that they couldn't get unemployment. And then when they go to apply for another job, and that job asks, how did you leave the last job? There's nothing good to be said. So you further crushing them, because there has to be people in underclass. There has to be people of a lower class. Even the so-called middle class is not respected to them. So when everything is said and done, capitalism trumps democracy. And people have to come to terms with that reality and fight on that point. You see the harm that he's experiencing from people boycotting his property, boycotting his businesses, how people are responding to not buying the vehicles, and how it's continuing on and impacting the stock. These type of things have to continue. But because he also has a straw in the neck of American payers with all the contracts he's worked out for himself in the government, he still has a means of money. So as long as the people continue to push for ways where it impacts economics, that includes Meta, that includes Facebook where we are. If it means arranging something to not be on it for a day or 2 days, maybe it become contagious and we're off it for 3 days. Their money comes from people choosing to advertise because they have a lot of people, a lot of potential customers by way of the fact that people have accounts on Facebook. Maybe we come to a way to leave it, use another method like Blue Sky, use something else to arrange to not be on Facebook for a couple of days. Anything to impact all of them, because they're a part of it too. The same with Amazon. That's why when I was speaking about purchasing my books, and I say purchase them from me.
In 1,000 feet, turn left onto Oak Road Southwest.
Because when you purchase from Amazon, I get a royalty payment. When you purchase from me, they get the royalty payments. How's that for turnabout?